You're in a room full of Jewish philanthropists.
Oh my God.
How did your Jewish background shape your values?
Well, you know, I've been asked that question a lot, and actually,
I've got something you've never been asked.
I got in trouble once in an interview. They want to attack me because I always talk about Jewish people as, you know, if you look at us, you know, as a people, we're a very small segment of the population, as you know. But if you look at the amount of impact, the impact that we've had on civilization, whether it's in the arts, or it's in science, or it's in economics, or in the law, medicine, all those fields, we've had a massive impact. And I think it's because, number one, we value education. You know, that's the, you know, when you get chased out of, you know, shtetls in Russia by the Cossacks, or you get chased out of, you know, you're being tortured by the pharaohs or whatever, you have the one thing you can take with you is knowledge and education. So we value that because ultimately I think it gives us a tremendous amount of strength, and it also gives us something we can hang on to, you know, when we're displaced, you know, in the world. We have Israel now, but it's only recent, and it's only a very short period of time in the history of our folks. So we value education, and my household, my father always talked about how if you look at the comedians, the really great comedians, whether it be Woody Allen or Mort Saul or Lenny Bruce or Jonathan Winter, any of the great comedians, most of the comedians were Jewish, not all, but a lot of the great comic minds that have come out of, and if you look at, for instance, the people that worked on the Show of Shows, which is what my dad, you know, was on the show the early days of Sid Caesar. You had Woody Allen, you had Mel Brooks, you had Neil Simon, my dad, Joe Stein, Larry Gelbart. The comedic output of that group of people, essentially everything you ever laughed at in the second half of the 20th century, literally came from these people, whether it's all of Neil Simon's plays, all of Woody Allen's films, my dad's output, Larry Gelbart and MASH and Tootsie and Joe Stein, who wrote The Fiddler on the Roof. I mean, you look at all this, and the funny people of the world are, to me, he always said, were the smartest people in the world. They were the people who could observe life, really make you think about it and laugh about it. They had a great take on the truth and the reality of life. And right from, you know, Sholem Aleichem, with the great wisdom that he showed in all of his plays, with obviously Fiddler on the Roof, and those things that came out of it. So that was stressed in my household. It was a no BS zone. You know, O'Reilly talks about the no spin zone. We really had the no spin zone because it was the truth. We can't afford, as Jewish people, we can't afford to not deal with reality. We cannot afford to it. It's like Mel Brooks said, you know, hope for the best, expect the worst. And that's what we do. As people, we look at reality, hard realities, and deal with problems. And I think it's that combination of the ability to face tough, hard realities and have a sense of humor about it that allows us to do what we do. And that was the thing that shaped me. You know, my wife, you know, her mother was in Auschwitz, and you know, her whole family was lost in the Holocaust. And I'm sure there are people in this room who have those stories they can talk about. So we're shaped by those things, and yet we have a sense of humor, and we value education, and these things are very powerful. So with a small group of people, we can have a massive impact on society, which we have had. And that was always stressed in my household. You know, social issues were always stressed. I was always, you know, my folks were against the Vietnam War during the 60s. It was a tumultuous time. My mother was part of a group called Another Mother for Peace. If you remember, that war is unhealthy for children and other living things. My mother helped design that poster because she's an artist. You know, she was part of that group. And my father marched in the moratorium, and in the civil rights movement was we were active in that. So those things were always in my household and things that I was exposed to. So that's where I come from. But real real emphasis on the truth, on understanding the truth of things and the reality of things.